Welcome back to the Bluechip Breakdown, Vols fans. I'm your host, Bull. The football team is off for practice today, but they will be back tomorrow. So I figured it was a good time for us to talk about these three big announcements that we have coming up over the next 3 to 4 days and take a look at our big board for recruiting in 2025. Also take a look at our commit breakdown for 2025 and talk a little bit about the 2026 class. As always, y'all, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We always say that, but it does us such a big favor. And also really make sure that you are subscribed. I've done this so many times on YouTube where I watch videos all the time, so it shows up in my feed, but I'm not subscribed. So take a look up under this video. If that subscribe button doesn't have an ED at the end that says subscribed, then you are not subscribed. So just please make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. Also, as always, really big shout out to all the members of the channel, everyone that's donating to the channel. Y'all know that you can become a member by clicking the join button below. You can donate by scanning the Cash App QR code in the top right-hand corner. It's also going to be in on the left side of the video with your smartphone. And if you're watching from your smartphone, everything will be down in the description below. All these links that I'm about to plug. We have not plugged our social medias in such a long time. I think we've only done it like maybe 2 or 3 times since we started this channel. So please go and follow us on Instagram at Bluechip Breakdown. You can also follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at the Bluechip BD Boy Dog. And our Patreon is patreon.com/Bluechip Breakdown. Now you can join over there for as little as $1 and you do get a 7-day free trial. We just want to kind of build that up, especially as football season is approaching, or it really is football season, but especially as the game weeks are coming up. So thank you so much for all of y'all's support. Let's go ahead and jump into the video. All right, so we'll be starting off with our commit breakdown for the 2025 class. Everything here is based off of On3's ratings and rankings. If this is y'all's first time seeing this, let me just try to explain it really quickly. Over on the left, we have the offense split up by position group. Up under each position group is the average rating for that position. Same thing on defense. And in the green, we have the offense's average rating, and we also have the defense's average rating. So going back up to the right, we are now 7th nationally. According to On3, we were 8th last week, and we're still 5th in the SEC. We have the exact same score right here of a 91.24, so I'm not quite sure how any of this stuff is kind of broken down as far as that part of it goes, but we did add one commit who is Darian Smith up under defensive tackle. So we now have 3 defensive tackles with an average rating of an 89 overall, and before it was at an 89.8. So being that Darian is a little bit lower rated than some of the other guys, of course, the average does come down just a little bit. But we have a 90.34 overall on defense, and we're at a 90.5 flat. So, I mean, we're still in really good shape. Also, we have a 57% blue chip ratio. Let me also bring this up for y'all real quick. This is from On3. So this is which teams have the most blue chip players in this class currently. And you can see that Tennessee sits at 7th. But I believe we're really at like 4th or 5th because, I mean, you can see all these ties right here ahead of us. But I think that we are in a good spot. It is a little bit shocking that Auburn is ahead of us, but I just wanted to bring that up to y'all really quickly. So, you know, again, it's all about, you know, are we kind of recruiting on a blue chip caliber level? I think that we are. And also just kind of like looking forward, I feel like a lot of the players in this class will end up taking a bump up in their ratings. And Darian could be one of them because he plays at St. Francis and they play that national schedule. So if he goes out and has a really good year next season, he has a great shot to move up those rankings. And all of a sudden, I mean, you know, we could end up maybe moving up further, even after we have all of our commits intact. We could end up moving further up those rankings. Now let's flip the page to our big board for the 2025 class as of today's date, August the 2nd. And of course, you know, this list looks a lot smaller than it did before for several reasons, and we'll definitely be going through that. But we're getting down to the end of this whole process, man. I think as far as this class goes, we might have a few more people that'll pop up throughout the season that's different from what you're seeing right here as far as the 2025 class goes. But it's about time to start flipping the page to 2026. Now, starting off up at the top, of course, 5-star offensive tackle David Sanders, the #1 offensive lineman in this entire class, is #1 on our big board. And I mean, I feel great about where Tennessee's at. I've told y'all for the longest time. And the main reason for that is going to be Austin Price and VolQuest. They have the pulse of all this type of stuff better than anyone else nationally. We even talked about that. And now what we're seeing is we're hearing those, you know, national media members, those national analysts are coming out and they're saying the stuff that Austin Price has been saying for the longest time. So, you know, for example, Tom Lloyd, who I believe is at, he's with 24/7 Sports. He said that he was very close to putting in a crystal ball in favor of Tennessee to land David Sanders. And Steve Wilfong, who's been having Ohio State as the leader for like a month now, he's not saying that now, okay? He's not really naming a specific leader, but he's backed off of saying, hey, Ohio State is in the lead here. So I think that just should let you know that we are in a great spot, because, our insiders are using words like tremendous, which they rarely ever use. Whenever you hear words like that, understand, like, you have to be able to read those tea leaves, know that something's going on. But I feel great about David Sanders announcing to our Tennessee Volunteers on August the 17th. Now, the next player is going to be Onis Konabani, who's a 4-star cornerback, actually from South Carolina. I think he's originally from maybe like France and London. He's from a different, he's from several different places. But right now it's down between us and Florida State. We've said that for a while. We feel like that would be his final two. I still don't think that he's actually set an announcement date, but it's probably going to be within the next week or so. Either way, I like where Tennessee sits right here overall, but you got to kind of watch Florida State, okay? I'm not 100% sold that it's just a slam dunk that he will be picking Tennessee. Now on to 3-star athlete D. Morris. He was supposed to make it up on campus last weekend, and he didn't. So I am a little bit concerned about him. I don't know what's going on. He's actually currently committed to USC, and we want him to play running back here. I thought that he would have wanted to come back closer to home because he is from Tennessee. But I don't know. Like, he has to get up on campus before I have any more faith than I have at this point, or I would say even than I had at the start of this whole thing, because now I'm starting to kind of lose some faith. And if he doesn't, if I don't hear something behind the scenes in regards to him, maybe trying to schedule a visit, or just anything at all that we could hold on to, I'm going to move him away from the expected commits to the, more possible commits. And that's not a huge deal. Again, I think he's a really, really good player. I always talk about that. He's very dynamic with the football in his hands, but at the same time, running backs kind of are a dime a dozen. And I can almost promise you that we will find a running back at some point this fall that maybe none of us know about. Of course, the staff, they probably already have some people in mind, but maybe they even find someone that they don't know about. Maybe there's a guy like, Arion Carter in 2023, in that 2022 season, he had flipped from playing running back to playing linebacker. He had a few smaller offers playing running back, but once he flipped to linebacker, everyone wanted him. So maybe there can be something that happens, on the flip side of it. Maybe someone flips from linebacker to running back and they turn to a star. You just never know. So I'm not overly concerned about that one. We will find a way to make it work. In worst case scenario, we can always go to the transfer portal. If we feel like we have to add a body, almost, I wouldn't say desperately, but if we feel like we really have to add a body, then we can always go to the transfer portal. Now for the possible commits, starting off with 5-star offensive lineman Josh Petty, still set to announce on August the 12th. I like Georgia Tech. I like Florida State in this one. I think Tennessee has an outside shot. I think Stanford might have an outside shot. But we'll see what happens, just because if you grow up as a longtime Tennessee fan, it's probably hard to turn that down. Now, why he has Georgia Tech and Florida State over us, it's hard for me to tell you. Okay, Florida State I can get because his sister goes there, but Georgia Tech, maybe because it's close to home, maybe because he can get a great education. We'll see on that one. I don't think anyone has a very solid, concrete idea of what he's going to do. I just don't. I think that we could see a surprise whenever he announces. Now on to another player that I don't think anyone has a real idea what's going on. 4-star offensive lineman Juan Gaston. We got to hear from his mom, Phoenix, on the Philip Dukes show. And in my opinion, she gave some information. If you just kind of read between those lines, I know some people said, well, she didn't really give us nothing. But I took away a few things for sure. So number one, she talks a lot about prayer. She talks about wanting to send Juan to a school and a program that's going to develop him into a good young man. And in my opinion, you automatically have to take Kirby Smart in Georgia off of that list, right? Just because we all know that behind the scenes, Kirby Smart is a jerk, okay? He's not a good human being. So if they've seen that, right, and sometimes it's not as easy to tell because, of course, the coaches are going to be on their best behavior, especially around the moms and all that. But even still, sometimes you can just feel the vibe whenever it's not genuine. And maybe maybe they have been feeling that from Kirby Smart. Also, I didn't know that Juan Gaston's dad, I believe, played basketball at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech and Georgia hate each other. So, at the end of the day, maybe you still want to send your son there if it's the best opportunity for him, but it's not like Juan doesn't have other opportunities. And in my opinion, would be better for Juan, especially if you're talking about getting out on the field, because Georgia's offensive line room is young and it's a whole lot of bodies in there. I think that they might have probably, the most bodies, the most young bodies out of any of the other programs that Juan is selecting for or from. So That's the first part of it, in my opinion. But also, whenever you have players like this that are trying to keep things kind of close to the vest, typically you have to watch for the programs that they are maybe hinting towards they might be wanting to go to, and automatically say, okay, this team probably is not going to be where this player is going to end up at because they're throwing it out there a little bit too much. And I do feel like Phoenix mom um, kind of hinted towards Tennessee being a really good option when she said something like they do a really good job of educating the parents on the entire process. She liked the way that Tennessee was different in taking the whole family out on the town and not just on campus. So, I thought that those two things stood out. And she also said that other programs need to take note. So that would be, in my opinion, kind of a red flag that, hey, maybe Tennessee is not going to be the team. They're trying to throw it out there like Tennessee is the team. Also, I know that Phillip Dukes had at least one post with Phoenix's mom talking about Tennessee, right? And it was just that little Tennessee segment. Now, I'm not following Phillip Dukes to know if he had posted about any other program because maybe he did. But if he only posted about Tennessee, which is all I'm going to see on my news feed, then I would say that that's another layer to what could potentially be a red flag saying he won't be picking Tennessee. Now, I honestly think just at this point that it's probably going to be Oregon or South Carolina because his mom is from South Carolina. So maybe they feel kind of comfortable up in that area. Maybe not. You just never know. But I still think that him growing up as an Oregon fan, maybe that's where he wants to go. Now, it is far away from home. People are saying, well, he doesn't want to leave far away from home. But his mom, I believe, even brought up, hey, it's only like a plane flight or something like that. So it's not that big of a deal, which is about what we said, too. I mean, these days you're getting all that NIL money. You can say, hey, listen, we want to fly home this many times. It's about how much those flights cost. Throw that into the NIL as well, so we don't have to worry about that. And teams like Oregon can definitely do it, right? Like they've got that Nike money. So I don't know, y'all. I mean, obviously nothing concrete came away from it, but I did take away a few little tidbits and nuggets. I don't think it's Georgia. I just don't. Like, I don't. Everyone's saying that it's a slam dunk. I don't think it is. At the end of the day, with all the things that have been coming out with Kirby Smart, well, not necessarily just with Kirby Smart. Some people have started to point him out because he is the head coach. But everything that's been coming out with all these players getting arrested all the time, I mean, I think that if you are, one of the moms that's very, very close with your child and you want to, like, you kind of worry about things like, oh my gosh, like they're out here driving, what's going to happen? That would be, I mean, there's no way in the world I'm going to send my child to a place like Athens where they're, drinking and driving and racing and stuff. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. We will see how she feels about it because obviously it is up to them. And then also, how much is she going to play into the decision? Is it all just going to be on one? Because he could be looking at this stuff completely different. So we'll see what happens here in a few hours. I also just want to point out that Jaden Pilati obviously is not on this board anymore because he did commit to USC. I want to say this for everyone to know, I am very happy for Jaden. If he is happy, I have not spoke to him since he did, announce his flip to USC, but it does kind of sound like maybe he is happy about where he's going to be going. At the same time, though, I think that, like I've said from the beginning of this whole process, this is one to watch all the way until signing day. I could definitely see Jaden ultimately signing with a different team and all that. Now, again, haven't spoke to him since he did make that flip, but it's something that I wanted to point out and just know that Jaden is a stud. He's a 5-star caliber guy. I'm going to keep on saying that because it's going to keep on being true. So, him going out there, I think that they want to use him kind of like a Palomalu type of a player. Like I saw that, they would kind of had him in some of those edits and things like that. I think that that's exactly what Jaden could be in today's, age of football, especially in the Big Ten. So that could be a good look for him up there or out there in Southern California. But I think that he could maybe do some of the same things here at Tennessee. Either way, y'all, we're going to watch this all the way to the end. I'm telling y'all it's not over with yet. Now, let's talk about the 2026 class because tomorrow, 5-star, number 2 rated quarterback in the country, according to On3, number 1 player in the entire country, according to 24/7 Sports, Faison Brandon will be announcing his college decision, and we will be going live for that one. Not quite sure what time it will be yet, but we'll let y'all know here shortly. But we feel great about Tennessee's chances to land him. We talked about this for like the past month or so, a little bit more and more, but he's going to be very, very special coming from North Carolina, which is a state that, in the 2026 class and really beyond is loading up with talent. There's several players, some guys who are teammates with David Sanders, like a Leo Delaney, and now Kendra Harrison. Those are guys that we feel like Tennessee could ultimately end up landing as well. So that's going to be a really big piece to come off the board in favor of our Volunteers tomorrow. And we also have Carson Snead, 6'6" tight end from Nashville, Tennessee. You can tell that he's a really big Tennessee fan. Him announcing on the 5th, I think that we should be seeing some fireworks there. So we should have 2 blue chip caliber players committing to our Volunteers in the 2026 class over, all the way up until Monday. I'll just say it that way. So very, very excited about the start that we're getting off to with this class. Now, of course, they have to go ahead and, officially commit and all that type of stuff. But the insiders feel great. I feel great. If you've been paying attention to it, you should feel great as well. I can also tell you this, just from, kind of working closely with Buford, there's several players in the 2026 class that really like Tennessee. I'm not going to throw out any names just yet, but just know it's blue chip caliber, and it's exactly what this team needs. So we'll see, man. There's obviously several other players. We're going to talk more and more about 2026, in the upcoming weeks, but we've got to kind of finish with 2025. We had to bring this up, though, because we do have 2 huge announcements from some players that, are going to be absolutely lights out for our Volunteers and fit into our system perfectly. So Coach Hype is still doing it, man. I feel like we're going to get even better in the 26 class than we will finish in 25. That class next season is going to end up being top 3 and maybe could push to be the #1 overall class. But that's going to be it for this one, y'all. Please let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. And as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, family, and other Volunteer fans. We'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks. Peace.